Nope.
What's going on, Predators? Travis from Apex Predator Outdoors. Today we're going to be talking about one of the final products that I purchased in order to finish my own custom Victory VAP SS arrow build. And so, you know, I redid the, I'll be talking more about this, but I put a new insert system on there, which I'll be talking about soon. So I basically, with this, on the bare shaft, I'm at over 20% FOC. And so basically what I wanted to do is I wanted to keep that FOC, and I didn't want to take away from it by putting something very heavy in the back. You know, putting in too heavy of a fletching or anything like that in the back end. So I wanted to keep it very light. So one of the things I always had a headache with whenever I'm building arrows, even whenever I originally built these, is doing the fletching. And the reason is because the glue is a mess. You know, you got to buy the clamp and everything to get it on there properly. I wanted to find a product that would solve all my problems that I have with fletching arrows without breaking the bank. And I have found the perfect, what I believe to be the perfect balance of weight, durability, price, and ease of use. Okay. As soon as I saw these and they came in the mail, I was just throttled by it. I was super stoked to see these. The thing I was worried about was that the idea of the fletching was going to end up being a lot better than the actual execution of it. What I'm talking about today is these Zinger Fletchings. And so these are a very small, very light fletching that is actually 3D printed out of a flexible plastic, kind of rubbery plastic material. And so here's the benefits of having these Zinger Fletches. And the first of all is that it is removable. So if I want to go back and take these arrows like I just did after I built them, take these arrows and remove the fletching so I can go back and bare shaft tune my arrow, I can do that. It's super simple to remove. I'll show you in just a minute. Also, if I want to tune my arrows, so I'm in the process of tuning it and I want to make sure that my broadhead coming off the front is lined up with my fletchings, all I have to do is twist this. If I want to replace it, because this is damaged, super easy, and it's not going to damage the shaft. And also the thing is too is I've got a very high FOC arrow, and so now I want the lightest weight fletching that's going to go back here, and it's going to steer the arrow properly. And so this fills, the Zinger Fletches I have found fill all of these check boxes very well. Okay. So the closest thing to this, the closest competitor to this would be the FOB or the FOB. The fletching's only better. The thing I have with the FOB that I don't like is that it has to go on the very back of the arrow. And basically what happens is you put it on the back and then you stick your nock into the end of that. What can happen with that though is that depending on how you draw your arrow back, is that can actually cause facial pressure on the arrow, which can actually steer it and whenever it goes in flight. Also, having a beard, it doesn't work very well because that is going to go right through the fletching. Only better would only tear right through my whiskers there. So with this, it doesn't have to go on the very tip of the arrow. The Zinger can actually go a little bit forward. It can go as far forward as you need, and it's quite simple to adjust. I just put a little pressure on it, kind of wiggle it down, and it will slide to wherever I need it to. All right, and so that's the great thing about these too, is that they're not going to move on you unless you want them to. So whenever you have them made, you call Zinger or you go to the Zinger website and you have them made, you tell them exactly what arrow you're working with. And what this is going to end up doing is it's going to give them the precise dimensions of your arrow so they know how to make these. Do they need them to make them in a micro diameter like what I've got, the Victory VAP SS 1.166 internal diameter, outside diameter is different. Don't get those two confused. You need to find the outside diameter of the arrow, not the inside diameter of the arrow. So, but the good thing is that they have a part on their website where they tell you whenever you're ordering them, to put in the type of arrow that you're shooting. That includes the the spine of the arrow, so they can tell exactly what arrow you're working with, and they can go look it up if something doesn't seem right. So as I did, I put them in the form, and I ordered these for my Victory VAP SS. And again, the fletchings fit just perfectly. They're tight enough to make it to where they're not going to slide, they're not going to move or anything like that, but they're loose enough that I can, if I remove the knock especially, I can pull these off. Then I can re-bare shaft tune my arrow if I change something like change the insert. They're a little bit higher profile than in some of the vanes there, but one of the great things about them is that you can compensate for the fact that they're a little bit shorter, smaller vane by using a offset. So I've got a 4-fletch 4-degree offset on there, so it's got quite a bit of steering, but it doesn't suffer against from some of the crosswind that you would see, because if I had a longer vane here, basically it's got more area, more surface area to push on whenever the crosswind comes across there. So again, this thing just, it has so much thought and so much put into it. It's just, from what I've seen, the best combination of everything. I haven't gotten to do any super long range shooting with it yet, but just from shooting about 20 yards with it, what I've done is I just got my bow out of the shop, by the way, guys. A video coming on that soon. So I just got my bow back out of the shop. Haven't fully set it up yet. I haven't sighted it in or anything. But what I did is I just went back to bare shaft. So I removed these off of my arrows because I really need to completely reset my bow. That means doing the rest and everything all over again. Video coming on that soon, by the way. So what I've done then is I took all the fletchings off, all the zingers off, and then I was shooting bare shaft. So at my bare shaft, I really wanted to test how much steerage that these could really get. And I got it to where I was about 5 yards away. So I got to the point where I found that there was a noticeable kick in my arrow to where they were all kind of kicking to the left. And so I knew that I needed to move my rest. But I just wanted to see how well these zingers could compensate for that. And so what I did was I just put the zingers on there, even with that left kind of tear, you'd say, if you were paper tuning, or, you know, I got a left leaning impact whenever I hit into a foam target. I just put the zingers on there, and even in that short distance that's got so much spin on it, it actually corrected for that. So even at 5 yards, that was enough for this arrow, or for these fletchings, to compensate and steer the arrow in the direction that it needed to go. So I have 100% confidence with these that whenever I go into shooting my broadheads, my ATACs this year, that I'm going to have plenty of fletching back here to steer those broadheads exactly where I need them to go. Okay, so here's the 5 shots I took with the arrows, and you'll see how much the Zinger fletchings corrected for that, and you see how tight this group is. Again, this is only at 5 yards, you know, but I wanted to show how drastic it is and how fast that these fletchings can get that arrow spinning and correct for inconsistencies. So you see, this, I've kind of exaggerated this a little bit by pulling these arrows out, but you can see these 2 bare shafts are coming off from the midline of this deer, which is about right here. Here's the flat surface, they're coming out straight like this. That these are coming out at about a 20-degree angle or so. Now the Zinger ones with the Zinger fletchings though are perfectly straight, dead in line, and grouped super tight. I mean, again, yeah, I'm shooting 5 yards, but you could see how much compensation these fletchings do for that. And if it can do that at 5 yards, once the arrow goes further down range and ends up, you know, giving a lot more twist, a lot more spin to it from the helical and the fletchings, it's going to compensate even better. So I'm really psyched about this, because this means that I am, even though this only happened at 5 yards, I personally am very confident that whenever I go out to say 40, 50, and 60 yards shooting a fixed blade broadhead, either the ATAC or the Shuttle T, one of the two of which I'm going to be shooting this year, that as much steerage as these might give, that I'm very confident that these fletchings will be able to compensate for that. So here's basically my top 4 reasons why, I'll say top 5 reasons why you should buy Zinger fletchings and give them a try. One is they're very cheap. A whole 6-pack of them for all of my arrows cost less than $20, and that's enough. These things are going to last a lifetime. They're super durable. Just pulling and stretching them, like, they don't lose their shape. They don't have that same memory that you have on a traditional fletching. They're super lightweight. So this 4-fletch Zinger weighs even less than 3 of my boning heat vanes or 3 of my blazer vanes. So I weighed all of them. They came within 0.2 grains of each other, and they're super accurate. The next thing is that they are removable. So I can easily remove these off here without damage to the fletching and without damage to my arrow. And again, I can also place these anywhere on the shaft that I need to. So that means that if I can, and I'm not having that facial contact, I can easily just, and you can see how easy it is to change these. Just give it a pull, right? I can adjust it. I can put it as far back on the arrow as I need to. And so with just a little bit of adjustment, I can put this as far back on the arrow as I need to. That way, the further back that I get on the tip of the arrow here, you know, the better it's going to be able to steer this and compensate for any kind of inconsistencies there. Coming in a wide variety of colors, and you can guarantee that I will be shooting these more as the season progresses. I will be showing some more of this coming soon. I have a whole review of my new arrows and how I rebuilt them and everything, and so stay tuned for that video. I really appreciate you tuning into this, and if you haven't already, please like and subscribe down below. That's a great thing to do for helping grow this channel, and I really appreciate it, and I hope today that I earned your subscription. Thank you very much for tuning in, guys, and as always, keep defying the odds.